Hi everybody, welcome back to class. For this video, we're actually going to be learning a new topic. That topic is going to be called unit conversions. So we're going to be learning about something called unit conversions. Now you may have learned about this already in other math classes, but this is something that's going to be very important for science class because of how equations and formulas are set up in chemistry. A lot of times we will be measuring our masses in grams, lengths in centimeters, volumes in milliliters, but you need a different unit when actually working through the calculations. For example, if you're working with force, just as an example, if you need mass to be in kilograms, not grams. But we don't measure in kilograms, we measure in grams. So you have to know how to convert it. In unit conversions or with unit conversions, there are two general rules. The first rule is called silly babies dancing. Silly babies dancing is actually the first rule. What that rule stands for is we're looking at these first letters here, the S, the B, and the D. Silly stands for smaller unit. And we go from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. We're going to divide. So from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, we're going to divide. An example of a smaller unit to a bigger unit could be like grams going to kilograms. It could be millimeters going to meters. It could be milliliters going to liters. All of those are smaller units being turned into or converted to a bigger unit. We're going to divide. The other rule here is going to be called bright summer mornings. And again, we're looking at those first letters. So the B, the S, and the M. With bright summer mornings, it's going to be bigger unit going to a smaller unit. You're going to multiply. So if you go from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to multiply. An example of that would be just the opposite of what we had above. Kilograms going to grams. It could be kilometers going to meters. It could be years going to seconds. All of those are a bigger unit going to a smaller unit. And those are the general rules for unit conversions. Silly babies dancing and bright summer mornings. So there's our rules there. And with this whole entire section, there are no Google Slides, there is no Google Docs, so you are going to have to take your own notes for this section. I highly recommend handwriting all this so you have it. And the reason we're handwriting this is because of all the different formulas and all the different unit conversions and how much handwriting is involved with this section. Now over here, you will be getting this. Over here where it says metric conversions. Does not want to write for me there. So we're going to erase that. We're going to go to right here. This right here, metric conversion factors. You will be getting this, or you should already have this in your Google Classroom, and it's going to be under the section called unit conversions. This is essentially a cheat sheet. This is essentially a cheat sheet. What this is going to show you is how to convert really quick and really basic from one unit to another. What I mean by that, let's look over here at mass. We're going to look right here at mass. If we look at our first example right here where we had grams going to kilograms, if I want to go grams into kilograms, all I'm going to do is do what is above the arrow. For example, let's say we have 500 grams, and I want to know how many kilograms it is. If you used a cheat sheet, if you just follow the arrows, and that's all you have to do with a lot of them, just go 1 from grams going to kilograms. You would simply take 500 divided by 1,000, which equals 0.5 kilograms. So there's your answer, which is perfectly fine. And I highly recommend using this cheat sheet whenever you're in a bind, but don't rely on it so much that you don't understand how to actually solve these problems. And that's what I'm going to show you here. That's how you solve that problem going through the cheat sheet way. You need to know, though, how to actually do a unit conversion, because when we get into other topics such as stoichiometry or density in this class, we are going to be doing a lot of unit conversions, and you've got to understand the basics whenever you're getting into really complex stoichiometric conversion factors. So what I mean is this. So again, we're going to write 500 grams equals how many kilograms. We already know that it comes out to be 0.5, but let's see the unit conversion. Let's see the details of it. When we do any unit conversion, you always start with what you know. And what we know in this problem is right here. That's what we know. So the first thing is start with what you know. So that's going to be step 1. So what we know is we have 500 grams. So we take what we know, 500 grams, and you put it over 1, because anything over 1 is still the same number. And there's a method to this madness. We are then going to multiply, and that's what that little dot there means. That little dot there means to multiply. But we're going to multiply by 1. And we're going to multiply by 1 using one of the conversion factors from up above. So we're going to be using one of these conversion factors from up above. I'm going to erase all this here. And the reason we're doing this is you have to cancel out the units. In math class, you have seen this, 2x over x. If you have an x over an x in math class, the x's cancel out and you're left with 2. Well, that's what we're trying to do here, except now we're trying to cancel the units and not just variables. So we see that there is a grams here in the numerator. And remember, the top of the fraction is the numerator, the bottom is the denominator. To cancel a unit, we know that you got to have the same thing in the numerator and the denominator. So what we're going to do is automatically put a grams here to cancel. But to use the conversion factors, you have to ask, can I go from grams straight to kilograms using the conversion factors? Well, remember, grams is a conversion factor or a unit of mass. So we're going to come up here to mass and we're going to look at the conversion factors. And then we find, when we look at this, I can go from grams, because there's grams, over to kilograms. So we can go from grams to kilograms. Now you see different numbers with the units. Here you see 1,000 grams, so 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. Those numbers cannot change. The 1,000 must go with the grams, and the 1 must go with the kilograms. So what you would do is match the conversion factors up with what you have in your unit conversion problem. So you get 1,000 grams, because that's what it says up above, equals 1 kilogram. And what happens, these grams cancel out. They disappear. The only unit left now is kilograms, which is what we wanted. So we're good. You always want to end with the unit you're looking for in the numerator. So now we just have to do the math. When you go through and do the math for this, you're going to take everything in the numerator, multiply it together. So 500 times 1 is still 500. divide by the denominator all multiplied together. 1 times 1,000 is still 1,000. And this is where you get your division. Because we went from a small unit to a bigger unit, we have silly babies dancing. We have silly babies dancing. So now just go through and solve. 500 divided by 1,000 is 0.5 kilograms. So you see that here and here we get the same answer. The one is a much shorter process, but the other one lets you see exactly how to do the problem. And this is what's going to be known as a one-step unit conversion because there was only one unit conversion factor. So this is a one-step unit conversion. Let's do another one. We're going to do another silly babies dancing. We'll just leave it as the orange for now. Let's go. If we have 22 minutes, how many hours do we have? If we have 22 minutes, how many hours do we have? Well, again, remember, we're going to start with what we know. We know we have 22 minutes, and we're going to put it over 1. In the numerator, right here, you have minutes. So that means minutes must go in the denominator. We want to go from minutes to hours, and we know that's a unit of time, so we go up here to time. And we look at the unit conversions here, or the conversion factors. In any of these, can we go straight from minutes to hours? Yes, right here is where we can do that. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So the 60 goes with the minute and the 1 goes with the hour. So you get 60 minutes equals 1 hour. And this is why I say if there's a minutes here in the numerator, always put the minutes in the denominator immediately. That way you know exactly that they cancel for 1, but 2, you know exactly where the conversion factor goes. So the minutes cancel, and we're left with hours. So we get 22 times 1 is 22, divided by 60 equals 0.36666666667 hours. Well, that's too big of a number, so let's round this. Let's round at the hundredths place. When we round at the hundredths place, we get an answer of 0.37 hours. 0.37 hours is our final answer there. So what I want you to do here is solve the next one. I want you to actually try to solve this next one. We're going to do another silly babies dancing, so we will be dividing, just like we did here. So we're going to get 3,230 milliliters equals blank liters. Take a moment and solve this problem. Okay, coming back to this problem. Remember, start with what you know. 3,230 milliliters is what we know. We're going to put it over 1. We're going to multiply by a conversion factor. There is a milliliters in the numerator, which means automatically put a milliliters in the denominator. So let's go up to the conversion factors. Does it say anywhere about going milliliters to liters? We know milliliters and liters is a unit of volume. So we're actually going to be going right here. And if we look, yes, we can. 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. So we get 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. Milliliters cancel. You get 3,230 milliliters over 1,000. Oh, actually, we don't need that there. Equals 3.23 liters. So that's how we do that unit conversion. And I want you to try one more. I want you to try one more on your own. Let's go with this orangish color. If you have 4 millimeters, that equals how many centimeters? So when we go through and solve this, you get 4 millimeters over 1. We're going to multiply by 1 by using the conversion factor. Right now there's a millimeters in the numerator, so we know we must need millimeters in the denominator. Well, let's go up here because we know meters, millimeters and centimeters, they are units of length. And it actually says right here, millimeters equals centimeters. 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. So the 10 goes with millimeters, and the 1 goes with the centimeters. Millimeters cancel. 4 divided by 10. That equals 0.4 centimeters. So that's how we do the unit conversion. Again, you could have done the cheat sheet by just taking 4 divided by 10, because going from millimeters to centimeters, we will be dividing by 10. So you can use the cheat sheet, but it is useful to figure out how to work through these problems. So all of these up here were examples of silly babies dancing, smaller unit to bigger unit. Now let's do some bright summer mornings, from a big unit to a smaller unit. I'll work through one first. Let's go with this color. We're going to go 0.045 grams equals blank milligrams. We know we're going to start with 0.045 grams. And that's, we don't need the equals yet. What we are going to do, though, is set it over 1. There's a grams in the numerator, so we need a grams in the denominator so it cancels out. When we know grams is a unit of mass. And it says here, grams equals milligrams. 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. So the 1 stays with the gram, and the 1,000 stays with the milligrams. The grams cancel out, and you get 0.045 times 1,000 all over 1, which equals 45 milligrams. That would be a bright summer morning. Now we have the step where we are going to multiply. So let's go through another one. This one I want you to actually solve. If you have 2.34 meters, that equals how many centimeters? Solve this problem. What you find out is if we're going to take 2.34 meters, set it over 1, meters in the numerator, meters in the denominator. So we go to length, and we see that here, centimeters equals meters. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. The meters cancel, and we get 2.34 times 100 all over 1 equals 234 centimeters. Again, another multiplication. This would be a bright summer morning. And we're going to do one more here. We're just going to do one more. And again, I want you to try to work your way through this and solve this problem. Let's go with this color. We're going to take 1.75 liters, and we want to know how many milliliters does that make. When you work through this problem, you got 1.75 liters over 1. Liters in the numerator, liters in the denominator. When we look at the unit conversion factors, you see that again, liters equals milliliters. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. The liters cancel, and that equals 1.75 times 1,000 all over 1 equals 1,750 milliliters. And there's our final answer. So you can see here how to work through the two different types of problems. Here we have again, bright summer mornings. And up above here you have silly babies dancing. Hope, again, please make sure that you write these notes out on your own. That way you understand them, you have them with you at all times, and not just this video. You will have a quiz on this coming up eventually, but for now, please work on practicing this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.